What happens when African nations get banned from entering the United States just because of where they're from? Countries like Chad, Somalia, Sudan, and Togo are now on Donald Trump's travel ban list, and across the continent, people are speaking out. From leaders making bold statements, to everyday citizens asking, why us? In this video, you'll hear reactions from across Africa, and what this ban really means for our future. Watch closely. The voices you'll hear may surprise you. Let's get into it.
Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Libya, Somalia, and Sudan are the African countries on Trump's travel ban list. Those partially restricted are Burundi, Sierra Leone, and Togo. Chadian President Mahamat Idris Deby Itno reacted on his official Facebook page, saying Chad has neither planes to offer nor billions of dollars to give, but Chad has its dignity and its pride. Chad's foreign minister added that the government was surprised by this announcement and by the terrorism-related reason. The country has retaliated by suspending visa issuances to U.S. citizens. Elsewhere on the continent, in Somalia's capital Mogadishu, residents voiced their opposition to the ban.
The U.S. is wrong to claim that Somalia is not safe. Somalia is secure and rich in resources. Security continues to improve each day and is increasingly reliable. The U.S. should focus on its own security. Somalia is safe and does not need security assistance from the U.S. We are self-sufficient.
In Togo, which is among the 7 countries facing partial entry restrictions, residents of the capital expressed their frustration over the decree.
I am really affected by this decision because we too would like to come to his country to study, to do tourism, but we can do nothing because it's his decision, hoping for a good outcome, favorable for us young Togolese.
Meanwhile, Sierra Leone said it was willing to cooperate with the U.S.
Obviously, we would love to see our citizens not suffer restrictions and travel bans, and that they can travel freely across the world once they meet the criteria that are set. And so our attitude to this is, what more can we do? How can we collaborate with our US partners, with whom we have and believe will maintain a very good relationship?
Trump claimed the move was spurred by an attack by an Egyptian man in Colorado at a rally for the hostages held in Gaza. This even though Egypt was not included on the travel ban list. He said the most severe restrictions affected countries with what he called a large-scale presence of terrorists, inadequate visa security cooperation, and high rates of visa overstays in the U.S. The African Union said in a statement that the ban would harm educational exchanges, commercial engagement, and broader diplomatic relations built with the U.S. over decades. It appealed to Washington to engage in dialogue with the countries concerned. Crystal Onkeo, CGTN.
So Africa once again finds itself on the receiving end of the Trump administration's actions, this time the new U.S. travel ban and restrictions. Let's now take a deeper look into what this latest move by the U.S. means for the continent and especially the targeted countries.
If we're looking at countries like Sudan, for them it's a lot of this goes to their current context as well too. They're faced with with a civil war, and a lot of refugees are coming out of that war. Then maybe for Chad, I mean, this also doesn't really come as a surprise, because Chad at the same time has tried to have a good relationship both with West, with France, and other partners. So there really isn't that much in terms of what these countries stand to really lose, because I mean, if you look across the continent, these countries are not really looking at the US as the biggest trade partner anymore. Most of the continent, if not all of Africa, is trading more with China, with the Gulf countries, with Turkey, the European Union. So the people-to-people exchange is still there. There's no doubt about that. And this is going to impact that. People are going to be able to travel as much to the US, or not able to travel at all. But I think overall, these countries, their economies are still going to function, and this is not going to dislocate the economic development in any way. If you consider the experience that President Ramaphosa had when he visited the White House, that for the continent was a telltale sign. I think the first indication that this administration in the White House doesn't really regard the continent in any meaningful way, other than maybe it's objective to get resources, critical and strategic resources from some countries like the DRC, right? Now, that treatment was frowned upon by several African countries, or at least people in several African countries. They protested the treatment of what is essentially Africa's biggest economy, and in many ways represents one of the success stories from an economic perspective. So if he's treating South Africa like that, then you can imagine what other countries would think about their own engagement. But at the same time, now we're hearing that the Trump administration is planning to have an African leaders summit around September. So maybe that will provide an avenue for countries to actually have an engagement with the US to see what exactly can be done to improve their relationship.
What you just watched is a clear reminder of how deeply international policies can impact everyday lives. Whether it's students hoping to study abroad, families with loved ones in other countries, or governments working to maintain diplomatic ties, the effects of travel bans are felt far and wide. Across the continent, reactions have varied. Some African nations are expressing deep disappointment, viewing the restrictions as unfair or unjustified. Others are calling for calm, seeking ways to work with the U.S. and find a path forward through cooperation and dialogue. What stands out is that regardless of where you stand, these decisions reach far beyond politics. They touch on dignity, opportunity, and the future of African engagement on the global stage. Many are asking, is this really about security, or is it about something deeper? But instead of jumping to conclusions, maybe this is the moment for more honest conversations, not just between governments, but between people, about mutual respect, about sovereignty, and about the role of Africa in shaping its own destiny without being boxed in by outdated global policies. We want to hear from you. Do you think these travel restrictions are justified? How do they affect your view of U.S. Africa relations? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation respectful, thoughtful, and open to all perspectives. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to share it with others. The more people who understand what's happening, the stronger our global dialogue can become. Thank you for watching.